Hey, what's up, gamers? From you MMORPGers to your first-person shooters, what's up? This is the Mystery Box Podcast.
Oh yeah, I like that one.
This is the first episode, and well, let's just say I'm really excited, aren't you?
No, for sure. Yeah. No, 100%.
This is gonna be a lot of fun.
All right. Would you like to introduce yourself?
I will indeed. My name is Nathan, and you can also find me on YouTube at AlertedFever380. If you go there and wonder why there's only 2 videos, well then, you're just gonna have to find that out for yourself.
All right. My name's Jack. Also Sneaky Spark 201. This is where the podcasts will be posted, and on various other platforms, you can also find the podcast under the name The Mystery Box Podcast. Mainly on... Oh, go ahead, you want to say something?
No, I have nothing to say.
Well, on this podcast, we will be mainly talking about, video game related stuff. None of us really had any sort of a criteria or itinerary. We also do have a third host, but the host cannot appear today.
He's not here.
So
wait for him to miss out on our very first episode. What the hell's wrong?
I will link his YouTube. His name is Ralph, Confused Frog on YouTube. I will put that in the description to check out his content. And I think we are good to begin.
So, why don't you come and tell us, what are we pulling out of the mystery box today to talk about?
You know what? I think
we should hit the box and see.
Yes.
Let's do that.
And I think I only had one thing written down. I was just typing up random stuff.
The box, it's spinning. Look. Oh, it's opening itself. Oh.
I have Cuphead DLC talk.
Oh, damn.
Oh, damn.
That box gave us a shitty roll on this one.
How much of Cuphead did you play? You didn't get too far, right?
I don't think I played all the way through with you. I think the max I did was I got to the third aisle. I think I beat the first and second aisle.
I don't even remember going that far with you, I'm gonna be honest. But
I remember beating at least the first aisle. But a part of me also remembers, I remember killing the clown, and I remember killing the genie. I think I killed
yeah, that would be the second aisle, wouldn't it? Yeah.
The sugar queen or whatever her name was, the sugar mama. The milky milf.
Yeah. What is? Well, I forget. I don't remember what her name is, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Bonbon.
Yeah, Baroness von Bonbon. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good memory. Yeah,
that was the only person I remember.
Yeah, that was from aisle 2. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So let's just get something straight out of the way on this podcast. Jack really loves Cuphead. It is one of his favorite games. You want to tell him what you did a few days ago
with the DLC?
How fast you beat it?
Oh,
all of it.
So I speed ran it for fun. I actually have a time. I ran the game. This was before the DLC came out. I ran the game, no charms, and only the pea shooter, and I used 0. No, I think I might have used super arts. I don't remember. I know I texted a friend. I told him my time, but I don't remember my time. It was. I wasn't using like any glitches or anything. I was just simply, running through the game, see how fast I could go. I think it was about an hour and a half. I beat the whole game. It was just. Yeah. Okay. Oh no, I gotta go a little further. I think it was about an hour. It was about an hour and a half. Just a little bit under, like a couple minutes under or so.
An hour and a half. To some of you, that might sound very, very impressive, but I don't know. There might be somebody out there that's like, I beat it in half an hour, and then you're just gonna be like, okay.
The world record for
in your pants and stay out of the comments, please.
The world record is like 20 minutes or something, with using like a bunch of crazy glitches or some shit. But I think it was about that long. It was about an hour and a half, which I was pretty happy with. It's pretty tough to do just the only using the pea shooter, and no charms. There's no extra health, no smoke dash. You're just kind of on your own there. But it was fun. But going through expert mode, I had to put stuff on. when I played the game and beat it on expert mode, then S ranked it, I had to use charms and new weapons. But what were your thoughts when you first played it? Before we talk about the DLC, just to kind of warm up the topic.
Cuphead was not my cup of tea. I was not good at it. I did not very much enjoy it a lot. But that's not to say I didn't enjoy the game. I just didn't enjoy playing the game. And I'll expand on that maybe later, or if you want to, I could just expand on it now.
Sure, go for it. I'm interested. I know you kind of talked about it, but I don't know if you ever really told me, I think it was like maybe it was difficulty and that was it.
Cuphead, yeah. The thing behind Cuphead is this. It is such a... I like to say it's such a nostalgic version of a new game when it first came out.
Mm-hmm.
When it came out, it gave me very big reminiscence of sitting on a couch with my two brothers playing couch games while we were sitting on the PlayStation Slim, playing split screen Call of Duty, just offline with each other and stuff like that, or sitting down and playing Super Mario or some game on the Nintendo 64 or the Wii or something. So it's kind of got that wonder, and it's like Cuphead it's a very unique game when it comes to that stuff. It's not only got the side scroller, which is reminiscent of older games. It's got that old game feel. It's hand drawn. It's old cartoony, like old Mickey Mouse days. And it's just really, really nostalgic game for when it came out and it was new. So that's what I really like about it. But when it comes to gameplay, I'm not very good at these games, and I tend to die a lot. You could ask Jack. I think did we ever make a video about this? I think we scrapped it.
We tried. I know you were getting really frustrated, so we scrapped it. But to be fair, the game is incredibly difficult, especially on expert mode. It is relentless. It is unforgiving.
Indeed.
Yeah, even on the normal mode, it's not easy, especially for someone who's new at the game. It's tough. It's a tough game, which is fine.
It is.
But like one time I ran through the game without dying, but I played this game constantly. I played it since I got it, like in 2019 or 2018 or something. It's a game that I really like, but it takes a lot of time, and even the DLC kicked my ass, because I had never seen these bosses before, and I spent a lot of, even though I've been playing this game for years, playing the DLC, I died a lot to these bosses, because I had to get used to, what their attacks were like, general tendencies. It was tough. It's tough. The game is difficult, even for seasoned players. It's not an easy game, but it's hella fun. It's just tough. So I think it's totally warranted,
Yeah, I hear you on that much. But on that note, you guys are probably wondering now, well, this game's been out for a while, so we already know this stuff. So let's get to the stuff that we are going to talk about, which is the DLC. Jack will probably spend most of his time talking about this, because I don't really know much about the DLC, but let's dive into it.
All right. So the Cuphead DLC, also known as the Delicious Last Course, came out June 30th of 2022. It was about like $10 or something like that. It's like half the price of the actual game or so.
$10 sounds right.
It might be. It was something like that. It might be like $7. And it features in the original game, you had 3 aisles, and then the last level, which was Inkwell Hell. So you had Inkwell Aisles 1, 2, and 3, and then you had Inkwell Hell, right? And this is actually aisle 4, which is a continuation after you beat the main game. Although I replayed the game yesterday a little bit, and you can actually go to aisle 4 after you beat aisle 1. If you want to. I don't see why that would be necessary, especially because, for me, you'd want to have, especially going to aisle 4 for how difficult these bosses are. Some of them, they're honestly, most of them are the most difficult in the entire game. You'd want to make sure you're prepared with all the charms and all, as much as you can, At least that's just what I would personally think. It features new bosses. The bosses are fantastic. what's crazy is that it's just as good as the base game, which I'm not surprised. But these bosses, they're just as well animated. They're just, I mean, granted, the RNG still kind of blows. Like, for people that don't know, even though Cuphead has been praised for, incredible graphics, incredible art style, incredible ingenuity, great ideas, the RNG, the random number generator, is very bad for the amount of, for how intense the game is and for how unforgiving it is. The RNG system is just not good, which, it's kind of why this game became so famous for its difficulty, but other than its art style. It was just known for having such a bad RNG system, so the RNG and the bosses are still not great. It still is frustrating. Let me look up the bosses, because I don't quite remember the names. Yeah. But it features... go ahead.
And, it has that's one criticism, and I think the other criticism is one that me and you were actually talking about earlier. Where the hell are the running guns?
Yeah, it kind of sucks. I didn't find any running guns. I don't believe there are.
Yeah, look it up really fast. I don't want to sit here and talk about running guns when it turns out you just never found them. But that is something that I would talk about, and I liked the premise of the game with all the boss battles, but the running guns were very nice kind of break from the general play style of the game.
Yeah, there are no running guns.
No, none at all.
Nope. I mean, I would have. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't want to sound stupid, but yeah, there aren't any, and I didn't think there were. Which is disappointing. And Nathan makes a good point. What's nice about, especially because the ratio of running guns to bosses is like a 1-3 or 1-4. For every running gun, you'll get 4 bosses or to 6 bosses or so. Maybe a little less than that. Maybe it's more like 4. But still, I wish that there were. You want to say something?
No, I'm just agreeing with you.
It's just yeah, Nathan makes a really good point about that. It's nice to take. For me, I didn't really think about it like that with the break thing, even though I don't find the running guns nearly as frustrating except for one of them. I only found one of them frustrating, but the other ones, to get pacifist ranks, they aren't too bad. They're way easier to get pacifist ranks than S rank, so it's much calmer. I didn't really think about that. I just kind of sucks because every aisle gets 2 of them, and then aisle 4 has 0. I don't know, kind of disappointed, but I didn't really think about it's kind of like a little bit of a relax period in the game, other than stopping playing the game. You're still playing the game, but it's not nearly as difficult, especially if you're just going to run through. If you just want to run through the level with no pacifist rank, just try to beat the level, get the flag. It's way easier than a boss.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it's you can either do that or you can go see the Barbershop Quartet.
Yeah,
I mean, those are your 2 choices. You're taking a little break from sitting down in the fucking boss battles and shit. But,
yeah. Oh, the DLC is $7.99. Okay, so it's almost $10. So,
how many bosses were in this?
Let me check. I think it should be 6 or something. Just almost every other aisle.
You probably played this aisle 3 times already.
I mean, I hadn't played in different saves, but I beat the aisle as Mugman, Cuphead, Miss Chalice, and I did it on Expert when I S-ranked them. So 3 to 4 times, something like that.
Oh yeah,
something like that. Yeah. So. The featured bosses are Glumstone the Giant, the Moonshine Mob, Mortimer Freeze, Esther Winchester, the Howling Aces, Chef Saltbaker, and then the Angel and Demon, which is actually a secret. There's actually a secret encounter, and there's also the King's Gauntlet, or the King's Leap, if you call it that. Which actually has 5 mini bosses in itself. It comes with new weapons, you got new charms, new character, new areas, new achievements, a new soundtrack. What's really cool is that actually the soundtrack is a lot more guitar and a lot more bells. It's really cool. I like it a lot. I don't recall ever hearing guitar ever in the original game.
I do. I do give the developers a nice pat on the back for that as well. They had bomb soundtrack, very good soundtrack.
It was pretty
All
great.
of the boss fight soundtracks, all of the fucking dude, the fucking King Dice song, amazing. You know how long I would spend sitting in King Dice's like lobbies listening to that song?
Yeah, for a while. The music is just so killer.
Dice.
And so the general plot, you're probably wondering, especially for those that play the game, well, how will this game work, especially for how the main game worked? Because the main game, the idea was, Cuphead makes a bad bet, right? And the devil, to redeem the two characters, they're required to get like these death certificates. Soul contracts, exactly.
From the debtors.
Exactly. So your job, the reason why you face the bosses, is to get their soul contracts to give to the devil at the end of the game. So you're probably wondering at how Aisle 4, what kind of soul contract, you beat the devil. What, do you get soul contracts again? Well, the general idea is, as you play through the game, the main game, there are these things called mausoleums. And after parrying all the ghosts, comes out of that little chalice is the legendary chalice, who is like a ghost, and she'll give you a super art. And when you go to the DLC island, and she'll give one of the characters, usually it's Mugman, she'll in like the intro thing, give him a cookie, and he'll eat the cookie, and it actually swaps places. So in the astral plane where the legendary Chalice was held, she becomes Miss Chalice and is actually a playable character. But she wants to be like, she doesn't want to be in that plane anymore. She wants to be like a real person, an animate thing. And there's a character called Chef Saltbaker who is making this thing called a Wonder Tart that will, allow to control that astral plane in a sense. But the issue is he needs the ingredients, and each boss has a different ingredient. So that's the incentive to beat these bosses. It's not soul contracts. It's each one gets.
That's why it's called the Final Feast. Okay, I see.
Yeah, So that's the general idea of the game. And for those who are wondering if the game is 3-player, it is not, because to play as Miss Chalice, it's actually a charm called the Astral Cookie. So when you use the charm, you play as Miss Chalice. So like one person gets to play as Miss Chalice, and the other one plays either Mugman or Cuphead. Which is a shame. I thought it'd be kind of cool to do a 3-player thing. That could have been super chaotic and like really fun.
That would be so fucking You got Mugman using the spread shot, then you got Cuphead using the roundabout, then you got Miss Chalice using the chaser, and they're all hitting their supers at the same time, and they're all jumping around. One of them's spewing milk out of his head sideways, and the other's flying a ghost around. You know how insane that would be?
Yeah.
Especially on the more difficult bosses.
Yeah, it's exactly. And let's see. Yeah, what's great, and I know I said this before, the DLC is just as good as the base game. It's so freaking fantastic. Yeah, so there's a new character, Miss Chalice. What's cool about Miss Chalice is she actually has 3 new supers that only apply to her. But she also has 1 extra hit point. She can roll, and she can double jump. And whenever she dashes, she parries. If she hits, you know how if you were Cuphead or Mugman, you have to jump on the pink thing and then, click jump and you parry. You can't do that with her. You have to dash into it and then it parries.
Parries automatically.
Yep, and what's cool is that you can dash again after you parry. She's a very easy character to use. But she's a lot of fun. I think she's a great addition to the game, truthfully.
Alright, now here's a good question. When you played through this new DLC, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was there one boss that stood out among the rest? Whether it could have been it was just interesting, it was hard.
Howling
What's
Aces.
the boss?
Howling Aces.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I loved all of them, but I gotta go with Howling Aces. So, the Howling Aces is a 3-phase boss fight. The first phase. Do you remember, Nathan? Do you remember that character from the beginning of the game? Like, do you remember the first flying mission with the one? It was called the blimp, or she was like a.
It was.
Or
she was.
She turns into a moon.
Yeah. It was Miss. She looked like olive oil. I swear to God.
Yeah. No,
Every
you're right.
time I saw her, I thought she looked like. I don't remember her name though. We'll probably flash it up on screen or something.
Yeah, I forget. I don't know. I can't think of that character's name, but do you
It
remember
was something? It was very elegant. It was something.
Oh, Hildeberg. That's what it is.
Hildenberg. That's it.
Yeah. So, do you know how before, like, you can't play the mission until you talk to the guy and then you do the tutorial of how to fly? There's that guy next to that. Yeah. So, in the boss fight of the Howling Aces, he's actually flying a plane, and you're on the plane. And if you walk to one side, the plane will tip and it'll go to another side of the screen. And above you is like a big like fighter plane, and there's a bulldog. And the attacks are fantastic. It's tough, but it's relatively well telegraphed. You can kind of work your way around it. It's not too bad. So then after like I'm trying to think of some attacks, like he'll have like a jetpack, he'll come out and he'll go to one side and he'll like flex his muscles, and he has like a crossbones tattoo, and then they'll like come off his arm. It's really funny. And one of them is parryable. And then there's another dog inside the plane that throws like tennis balls, and another attack is where he uses a cat that looks like Tom, the cat from Tom and Jerry, and then it shoots yarn balls. It's so funny. And then after you beat that phase, it's hilarious. And then the next phase are 4 little puppies, and they'll start, like, they spin around the plane, and they'll, like, bark, and every single, like, there's 3 different, like, things that come out of their mouths. It's either B, O, or W. That'll come out of their mouth, like the letters, and then you have to dodge the letters, and some of them are parryable.
Bork.
Literally. And after you beat those, there is the lieutenant or whatever, the dachshund female dog, and she's in this like massive ship. And I remember when I paused the game for the first time and it said arc control, like on or off. I'm like, what does that mean? Well, the screen flips 90 degrees in this final phase. It'll keep flipping 90 degrees to the point where they're like on the right side, then you're upside down, then on the left side, then back on the ground. So arc control means if you're sideways, would you rather like, move left and right with the joystick or up and down?
Oh Jesus.
So I forget
that sounds really fucking annoying.
At first it was incredibly annoying. I didn't understand it, like really how to beat that final phase, because the first 2 weren't that bad, but that last one it's a tough one. But I was achievement hunting. Then I got all the Cuphead achievements because I was just kind of thought it'd be kind of fun to try to complete that game. And one of them,
life.
one of them was you had to at least A- every boss in that aisle before I S ranked them. And I wasn't even thinking. I just got an A+ on the normal mode. It was crazy. I wasn't even like thinking about it. I just kind of did. All I cared about was an A-. I didn't even pay attention to the fact that I A+'d it. That's the first and only boss that has that kind of control mechanism. It's pretty interesting. But that's probably the one that stuck out to me the most. I don't know if it's my favorite, but it definitely got my attention the most. It might be my favorite. No, probably Moonshine Mob is probably my favorite. Moonshine Mob.
Why don't you tell us about that one, though?
So Moonshine Mob is a group of like bugs. And it's run by a snail underground. So the first boss is a spider, and you have 3 levels. The music is fantastic. There's like a female that's doing like scat singing. It's great stuff. it's completely original to the games. I've never heard this kind of music in the soundtrack. So then
It sounds.
yeah, it is pretty killer, and with oh man, what was I gonna say? With the first phase is like this big spider, and he's like it's so funny.
Oh yeah.
He's going from like there's 3 different platforms, and he's going from one to the other, and then he'll like call his minions and he'd be like blah, 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 blah. Like he'll literally speak gibberish into a phone, and it's so funny. It's great. And once you defeat the boss, that phase, he falls off, and then he comes up and pulls down a string or on this like thing, and then pushes it upward and pulls down like a gramophone with a female spider. I think it's like a spider or something. And then you have to defeat her. It's not too bad, especially if you have Golden Chalice. It is a breeze. This phase is a breeze. This is the first boss IS ranked. And then the last phase is an anteater, which is pretty cool. And what's really funny is once you beat the anteater, a sign will come down. It'll say bravo or whatever, or like the ending thing. But it's a complete fake out where it just enters the final phase. It's so funny. I watched React, like Jacksepticeye and a bunch of other YouTubers completely fall for it and die because they have 1 heart left and they think they want it, so they stand still, and then the snail pops up and then shoots something at them, and then they die even though they don't. I remember I got faked up, but I still had all my hearts when I first played it, so I ended up just like doing it. I think when I got to that point, after finally beating the anteater, I was like, all right, I did it. But then I lost health. I was like, oh wait, it's not over. Like, oh, and the snail is wicked easy. It takes you like less than 8 seconds to finish. It's really, it doesn't take very long. It's like an 8-second phase.
It's just the trickaroo that gets people.
Yeah, like a first time kind of thing. Yeah, it gets people first time. But it's a great fight. That one might be my favorite. It was the first one I played out of all of them. But it's good. I mean, yeah, I'm counting right now. I'm not including the angel and demon boss fight because that's actually a secret boss fight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I was interested about that. I was interested. You said it's a secret.
There's a secret.
How?
So there is a new there's new charms, right? And one of them is like a relic, but like is like a ancient. I think it's called an ancient relic, right? And well, first what you have to do is there's by one of the bosses there's there's like a podium, and it's supposed to be based off of like first, second, and third place. It's for like a rock climbing thing, and you can interact with them. And if you just kind of walk around near the bottom of the map, there are sets of 9 gravestones. And if you go back and you listen to the dialogue, it matches up what it matches what they're trying to say. So like third place might be like, man, I would have won it if I didn't leave, if I hadn't left it down there, down left. It's the down left grave. That's one of the 3 graves. Or like one of them would be like, or like a first place would be like, oh man, that was just downright easy, downright grave. And then you have to follow them in the order that they're saying it from first to third place, and then you click the graves, and then you can do the final boss fight, which is the angel and a demon. It's really cool stuff. And
so are they like the hidden bosses, but the last one you need to fight to complete the aisle?
You don't actually need to play. You don't need to face this boss to complete the aisle. You don't. So you'll I forget how the relic works in this because I only played through this boss like once. I thought I remember it being involved. Maybe it wasn't, but I remember accessing. Like I remember I think I took it with me when I fought this boss, and it's what's interesting. It has one phase. So how it works is that if you're facing one direction, the devil will be in front of the character and the angel will be behind, or the demon, the angel will be behind. When you face the other way, they swap places. They like kind of like disappear and then reappear really quickly. And when you turn around, like for example, let's just say the demon throws a fireball, and if you turn around, the fireball dissipates. You know, it turns into a circle that'll just go right through you, because the angel shoots out these little circles. But if you turn around from the angel shooting a circle, it'll turn back into a fireball. And then there's this laser that kind of goes through, and if you turn one way, the laser is completely, you can walk right through it or just stand right through, but if you face it back, it turns back into like a laser, you'll get hit, or like a fire laser. It's really unique stuff. Really like this boss fight.
It could just be me or the fact I'm overthinking things, but this sounds like heavy fucking symbolism for something.
It might be. Heavy. I have no idea.
Like what? Cuphead and Mugman always are turning their back on the good and always running towards the evil.
I didn't think. All I thought about was like, how do I beat this boss? Because at the first 10 tries, I still couldn't wrap my head of how the hell I was supposed to do it. I was like, I get you face one way, but like my brain can't think that fast. I gotta think about how this works, and then I had to. I might just be overthinking it, but hey, I'm a true game theorist at heart. Of course.
Calling you out, MatPat. Nah, but seriously though, like it sounds like a pretty cool. I've seen pictures of it. I've never watched the gameplay or anything like that, but I've seen the pictures and it looks really cool.
You know what really sucks?
What's that?
There's only one flying boss.
Only one flying.
Only one. Yeah, the Esther Winchester.
And who is he?
I think it's like a sheriff. It's like a cowgirl sheriff, but it's like a horse or something as the sheriff. It's really funny. It's a good flying boss. It's a pain in the ass on expert. It's difficult, but it is it's a fun one. I just wish there was another one. I don't know.
You like the flying ones, don't you?
I think the flying ones are a lot of fun. Yeah, I like the flying ones a lot.
I think the flying ones are so much
Yeah, exactly. But there's only one. I don't know. I mean, I had a minimum of what I wanted to see. I wanted to see running guns, flying stages, and then the normal boss, and then like a good. I will say, I never cared for the final boss fight in the main game. I didn't think it was too easy for being a final boss, you know?
What, the devil?
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like most people had a hard time with the devil.
It's not as, like once you get to the second phase, he has a massive hitbox. And I kind of feel the same with the final boss here. It's not as well, it might be easier, but I will say there's some cool ideas they had with this final boss. But it wasn't like as dramatic. The chef.
Oh, the chef.
The chef that you're trying to, he kind of backstabs. It's an enjoyable. Yeah, it's an enjoyable boss fight. The first phase is like, it's got some great eye candy, really, really cool ideas. Generally, it's like the art style really does help so much with this game. I'm trying to think about the other bosses. Yeah, Glumstone the Giant. That one has a cool phase progression. A lot of they're like a bunch of gnomes, and then you have to defeat the giant, like gnome minions. And then once you defeat the first phase, he tries to pull his beard out because there's like these things stuck, and he rips his beard off. And then he'll pop he'll pop up, and you'll have two puppets on both of his hands. It's really cool. And then once you beat that phase, he'll tear apart the ground you're under and then swallow you, and you fight his uvula. Or
sorry, what?
I think it's like his No, it wasn't. I don't think because you're in his stomach. I think you're in his stomach. You're not in his mouth. I believe you're in his stomach. So whatever, you fight a part of his stomach. It's really clever. It's really clever stuff. It's a good boss fight. It's a tough one.
You fight the urethra.
He just puts you in his dick.
You go all the way down. You're like, we're in the stomach, and then like the Cuphead developers are like, nope. No, you definitely were not. That is not what we intended. And there's like, what do you mean? If we were in the stomach, then where were we? And all the fucking developers are sitting there snickering at us like, you'll find out.
Yeah, I still have no idea what it is. I think it's in the stomach because it's got like stomach acid. But
you want to take a guy down, you go for the weak spots, man. I don't fucking know what you're talking about.
But that's a good boss. It's a pain in the ass. The RNG is not good on this boss, especially in expert mode. It is relentless.
Well, I'm kind of curious now. You said the devil wasn't really the hardest boss in the game.
I don't think so.
Who is? Who do you think really is?
Are we excluding the DLC?
You can add, you can include.
Or include the DLC.
As you will. I know who I think it is.
Who?
I definitely think it was that dragon in Isle 3.
Oh, yeah. What the heck was that dragon called? Start with a G, right?
I think so. That dragon was annoying.
Yeah, that dragon is not easy. That dragon is tough.
He had really widespread attacks.
What was that?
For one. The second one was he kept moving around after every phase. He'd go from in front of you to behind you to underneath you and all that shit and everything like that. And it wasn't only that, it was that the fact that you needed to keep
grim matchstick.
An eye. Yeah, you need to keep an eye on him while jumping on those clouds. So you had to have like precise movements.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a tough one. But I played that one so much, it's kind of like muscle memory to beat it first try. But for beginners, if I were to throw a beginner and play all these first try, that would be up there in the top 10. Or top 7, top 6, for sure. That
was just the most difficult to me. Not even the Mad Scientist was very difficult to me.
The Junkyard
Mad Scientist
Drive.
had a lot of moving. Yeah, Junkyard Drive. He had a lot of fucking stuff to watch out for, and at the end with the crystals and the bullet hell and all that shit, but it was not the most difficult one in my opinion. The dragon was definitely a tough one. The mermaid was a tough one too, but
the mermaid is tough with Chalice. I think I found it to be pretty difficult. I found it to be difficult playing Chalice because whenever you beat all of the main bosses, and all of the new bosses, as Chalice, you get a golden Chalice filter, which is pretty cool.
So what's your stand on it? Who's the most difficult?
How about if I do difficult to S rank? I think that might be easier.
Sure.
I would say if I had to pick one from. I would say the hardest from Isle 4 is Glumstone the Giant to S rank. The RNG is terrible. But if I had to think about all bosses from Cuphead, how about that? And I'll just look at the list of all the bosses. All the ones from the beginning. The first Isle are not in the question.
They're easy.
Jimmy the Great is up there. I think Jimmy the Great is tough.
Who was Jimmy the Great?
He's that genie.
Ooh, yeah.
The flying one. That's a tough one to S rank.
That one was difficult because he had, 5 phases, and they were all insanely difficult and bullet hellish.
Yeah.
You first fought him, then you went into you had to shoot the pillars, and then he, fucking pulled out a treasure chest and shot things at you. And then from there, he was that weird thing in that coffin, and then it was a puppet.
Yeah, and then there was the phase with those pyramids, and he's very large and stuff. That's tough. Beppy the Clown isn't bad. Honestly, Baroness von Bonbon is not that bad. Wally Warbles is not easy to S rank.
Baron von Bonbon she was once you learned all the moving pieces, it was not that hard, but most people, it was difficult with the RNG. There was always at least there was always at least one boss in Baron von Bonbon's fight that you did not want to face.
For real, like
it would pop up and you'd be like, shit.
Like speedrunners would have to actually like if they get a certain mini boss that they know they can't face if they're trying to like do a speed run of S rank, they'll just quit and then just play the boss again. It's that, yeah, the RNG is definitely not. It's all based on RNG in that one, but that one's not too bad because the mini bosses aren't that bad.
Yeah, I don't think the clown one was that difficult.
No, Wally Warbles is the you know that bird, the bird from.
Oh yeah.
Like it's not hard, but
a little bit difficult.
the issue I had with Wally Warbles, it's not how difficult, because it's not that difficult. It's difficult. It's can you finish it fast enough to get the S rank? Because you have the minimum time or the maximum time you can get is 2 minutes and 10 seconds or 2 minutes and 9 seconds or something like that. I'm always like 20 seconds past it. And I'm like, okay, how do I shave the time? It's already tough enough to dodge all the attacks, but finishing it in time is it might be that and the what's their name? Shit.
Which one?
I don't know. I can't remember. Calamaria, the Medusa mermaid. That one also, I had a very tough time finishing it. That was the last one I S ranked because of how tough it was to finish in under the 2 minutes.
I just feel like the flying ones are difficult because the flying ones you can't switch up your roster of weapons. You have the shooting and then you have the bombs. That's it. You can't just manipulate your abilities to help you out in the situation you deem, because the plane is just dodge, survive, and just push, hold down A and don't let go. Constantly have the fire on him. That's it. That's basically how it is. You can't mess with it.
Rumor Honeybottoms was pretty tough. She wasn't too bad, especially when
that B was not tough.
Yeah, Captain Brinybeard wasn't bad either. It was Dr. Call's robot was tough to do S rank. Calamaria was tough. Sally's stage play was actually one of the first I S ranked. It's not that hard. Phantom Express took a little bit of time. King Dice took me a while to S rank, because there's so much stuff.
King Dice is really difficult.
There's just so many mini bosses, and you can't like lose health.
I just imagine.
It's tough.
Yeah, I just imagine on S rank you just had to hit 3 every time. You couldn't go for save zone. You had to hit 3 every time.
Yeah.
To like max out the spins and make it.
Yeah. It's
And then if you hit start over, man, you probably had to quit and start all over.
You might as well
start all over because you probably wouldn't beat S rank then.
No, there's no way you would. Yeah, the Devil is not too bad. It's not easy at all to S rank, but it's not like I'd rather S rank the Devil than like Dr. Call's robot, the Junkyard Jive, because that is a pain in the ass to S rank. And then the DLC, Moonshine Mob isn't bad at all. Mortimer Freeze, the one it literally looks like the Ice King from Adventure Time. That one is not too bad. Esther Winchester isn't too bad. Howling Aces is tough.
Wait, which one was that one? Mortimer Freeze, was that in the 4th?
That was in the DLC, yeah.
Okay.
And then Chef Saltbaker is not easy. It's harder. I would say it's harder to S rank with Chef Saltbaker than it was with the Devil. But yeah, no, Glumstone the Giant. Jeez, that was tough. That was insane. That was.
I don't remember a lot of.
Well, Glumstone was the deal. That's a DLC boss.
Well, yeah, I know. I don't remember a lot of bosses from the second aisle.
I could read them off to you.
I know the genie, the clown, Bonbon, and then that's it.
There's also the dragon and the bird.
Oh, the dragon and the bird were I thought the dragon was the 3rd aisle.
It's aisle 2. It's usually the last one you face is Grim Matchstick. Generally.
Okay. All right, that's fair.
And there's also a thing, last thing with this DLC. There's actually a thing called the King's Leap, and you face 5 different mini bosses, and the only way you can defeat them is by parrying them. And
Really?
actually, it disables charm. No, it doesn't disable charms. No, it doesn't disable charms. It disables the super arts, and it disables your fire. You can only parry. So the first one are the pawns. It's based off of the chess pieces. So the first one are the pawns, and this one's a pain in the ass. They drop down from a top air, and you have to parry their heads, and then their heads fall off. But even if their head falls off, they'll stay on the top and they'll jump back down. So there's like a bunch of like random bullcrap that's running at you, and you have to jump over them and then parry the last ones. Which, that one's not too bad. The second one is the knight, and it's a horse that's wearing like knight's armor, and you have to parry like the mane on it. Which, it's not hard. It just takes a while. So you have to parry it like 20 times. And then you win. Then the second one, the third one is the bishop, and the bishop is like it's like a floating head, and there's like 12 floating candles or something, and you have to light out all the candles by walking to them, and then his head is parryable, and then each time you parry him, it adds another candle that's lit, and then once all of them are lit, he also starts like attacking you with like bells and stuff. You just have to dodge them, and then get all the candles unlit, and then you parry him, and then you defeat him. Then you have the rook, which is like an executioner, and what happens is that like the things that come out of his axe, is he's like sharpening his axe, are these like heads of like some woman that he executed, and you have to parry the heads back into him. But what sucks is that it's all directional. So if you parry from the left side instead of the right, it actually goes off the screen. It's going the wrong direction. So the bottom left is the best way to do it. It's just really tough to parry them, especially with Cuphead. Like, I ran through through all these with Miss Chalice because she can dash. It's way easier, in my opinion. But, and then after...
Yeah, because it's an automatic parry. You don't got to come out of a parry and immediately hit another button to do a parry.
Yeah. And the more times you hit him, there'll be sparks that come out, and you have to dodge the sparks. And then the more times you hit him, the more sparks happen at once. And then the last one is the queen, and the queen has a couple of attacks. Like, one of them is like a bunch of like three, like a wall of parry things come in, and you have to like parry them. And there are 3 cannons, and she moves from left to right, but so do the cannons. So based on her position, you have to parry the cannon, and it'll fire in that direction. And her other attack is like, do you remember the cursed chest from the genie, where one of them will just throw you a bunch of random objects? There's like no particular order. She does the same thing, and you have to dodge that attack. Then you beat all those, and then you get an option to run the gauntlet, which means you have to face all 5 of these bosses one after another without dying.
Oh yeah.
And then that's just the King's Gauntlet, and then you pretty much complete that. It's good. It's a good idea. It's a nice idea.
Yeah.
I guess it kind of replaces the running guns, but I think, why not just have the running guns and then have this new content? You know? Have the new content here. This is kind of like a running gun, but not really.
Yeah.
Add the
I
King's
can see that.
Yeah, add the King's Leap. And then I also add the running guns. Have both of them. Why not have both of them? I don't know. But generally,
maybe they're just trying to do something new.
Generally, the DLC is good, and there's also new fire types and new charms, which are really cool. I think I'll see if I can find the.
Yeah. What time are we on?
We're at 49 minutes.
We might have to start wrapping up here soon, so I say we at least one more topic.
Yeah. What do you want to move on to something else, or do you want
to? I don't know. Well, what's another part that we haven't talked about yet? Like you said, the new spread, the new fires, and the new charms.
Yeah.
Just wrap those up into one together, and then that should be it.
Yeah, good deal, good deal. So there are new fire types. So one of them is, let's see if I can find, if I can find. Yeah, so we have the Crack Shot potion, the Converge potion, and the Twist Up potion. So the Crack Shot is, do you remember the Chaser? That the green stars? The Crack Shot is very similar. It does higher damage, but it's slower, like DPS. Great, it's a great weapon.
Oh, no need for aiming?
Yeah, it's fantastic. Then you have the Converge potion, which it's kind of like the spread. It's like 2-3 lightning bolts that come out, but if you hold down, you know how like you can directional aim by holding like the right bumper and you stand still, but you could like do like you can point in like 9 different directions and fire.
Yeah.
It'll actually start getting closer and closer together, and then it'll be like one straight line, so 3 going in one straight line if you're standing still. And then the Twist Up potion is a fire type that actually it goes to the right and then it goes straight up. So it attacks bosses that are above you.
Okay.
And the other abilities, so the Converge is like a lightning bolt. If you use the extra power, the Crack Shot, it actually spawns it looks like the planet Saturn, and it actually starts shooting stuff at you. It's like a sentry turret, and you can parry that turret, and it'll jump right into the boss, or it'll hit the boss. And the Twist Up spawns a tornado that spins in like a spiral, and it gets larger and larger, and then it goes away. Pretty cool stuff. And then the new charms. There was one of them was that relic, and what's cool is that the relic will become a divine relic if you play enough bosses with it. You're not going to believe this. So it gives you 1 heart. When you have it equipped, you have 1 heart, but you get every single fire type and every single charm at random. So every single time you get let go of the fire button, it gives you something completely random. That's
weird.
It's really weird, but it's pretty cool. I'm gonna be honest.
No, it's like Blackjack from Black Ops 3. Every time he got his ult, it just rolled it to something different.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty much what it's like. So the new ones, it's the broken relic, which you have to take the broken relic as you buy it for 1 coin. You take it and you face that boss with the broken relic, that angel demon one, I believe. Then you get the cursed relic, and then you have to face enough bosses to get the divine relic. And the other one, you have the astral cookie, that gives you like it lets you play as Miss Chalice. Then there's also a thing called the heart ring. So there's the heart, the extra heart, and then the twin heart, so you can get 4 or 5 respectively. The heart ring. So you get 3 total HP if you parry, or I should say, here's the best way to say it. It restores 1 HP to the player on their 1st, 3rd, and 6th parry. So if you were to parry a total of 1, 2, 3, so if you were to parry a total of 6 times, 6 times, you'll get 3 hearts. So you can actually have 6 hearts in one game. And then there was something really cool that they added. This will be the last thing. They added Jimmy's Wishes. So if you beat the game, I think you only need to beat the main story. You spin your circle, you spin your joystick if you're in the overworld, and then Jimmy the Great, that genie, will come out and grant you wishes. If you haven't beaten the game, you get 3 wishes, but if you beat the game, you have an infinite amount. So you can actually have 9 HP if you choose the Twin Heart. You could have 9 HP in one game right at the start. But you can't S rank. You can't S rank with it, but you can still beat expert mode with it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff.
That sounds insane.
So what else?
That sounds overpowered as hell.
It can be obviously it isn't if you're going for S ranks, but if you're just trying to beat the game in expert mode, yeah, no, it definitely is. So what else did you want to talk about? Did you want to talk about I told you about Assassin's Creed Liberation, right?
Yeah, but that's probably something for another episode.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, well, is that everything about covered on Cuphead?
Yeah, I got nothing else.
Well, all around, it's a great game. That's it. It's a great game, and if anybody who's listened to this hasn't played it, you should really go play it.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Great call out to, I don't know, who developed this game?
Moylenhauer Studios.
They did a great job with it. I don't think I've ever heard of them besides this game.
Yeah,
I don't know what else they made, but this is a great game. It has the nostalgic of it. It's kind of difficult, but you know, if you give it enough tries, you'll get it. And all around, this new DLC, I think it lives up to the rest of the game.
Yeah. I'm assuming from what I've said, should probably kind of say that it really is. It does live up. I just wish there was more, but it does. The bosses live up. They're just as good as the main game bosses.
But in any good game, you're gonna wish for more.
Sure. Yeah. No, you're right.
Yeah. Who knows? They might make another DLC. I don't know what it would be, but they might.
I hope, but it would take a while because this DLC was supposed to come out in 2019. That's when the first trailer was, and they said, like, spring of 2019. Well, that was 3 years ago.
That's just video games in general nowadays.
Yeah.
They just released a bunch of games at E3, and they're like, oh yeah, these games, they won't come out for like 5 years, but we're just letting you know they're on their way.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So, I think that's a good place to end it, wouldn't you say?
If you want, yeah. I think we're about to cross an hour. Unless you had any other topics or any mini things that you wanted to bring up for a little bit.
Nah, that's about it.
I think that's a good start to the first episode.
I think it is indeed. And it's probably going to get even better when we get our third member in here, when we get Ralph in here.
Yeah, once we get Ralph, I think we'll have a lot more to talk about. It's weird because, or it's not weird. Ralph loves like playing more like bird's eye view kind of games, like Age of Empires. And there's another game he plays.
I think all of us here have our own preferences.
Yeah.
I don't fully know what yours are, but
it's called Europa Universalis 4. He plays that a lot.
Yeah.
That's definitely his thing. It's never been my thing, but you know, he's really good at those kinds of games. But it should be fun to have all three of us together. That should be great.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, with that being said, thank you all so much for listening to our first episode. We really hope you enjoyed it, and we're looking forward to doing a lot more of these because we're definitely gonna have some fun with these.
Yeah.
We're gonna try to
give us feedback if you have if you guys have any opinions. Yeah.
Or like any thing you think we should talk about, we'll stand.
Yeah, exactly.
I would like to eventually get maybe if this becomes popular enough, maybe get a subreddit going for people to lay comments on to us of what they would like to see.
Yeah,
but
that'd be kind of cool.
Another time.
Yeah.
So, thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next time. So for now, let's close the box and hope we get something better on the next roll.
Yeah, something better. See you guys.